Hi, my name is Jaxara Almeida. I'll be doing the thoracic set of views, AP thoracic, lateral thoracic, and a swimmer's view. For all my views, I'm going to make sure I de-artifact my patient. They have an information consent form signed. They are wearing a gown and have the proper shield, which in this case would be half an apron. And since my patient is a girl, in this case I would also apply the 10-day rule. Okay, so for my first view is AP thoracic. I'm going to make sure my focal distance is at 40. Okay, and there's no tube tilt, so for this one I have to bring it back to 90. There it is, no tube tilt. It has a filter, thick part goes up at this point, so thick part goes up. Perfect. We're going to make sure this is 17 and 7. What is 17 and 17? Perfect. Now I'm going to make sure I have the proper cassette, which is this one with the ID blocker down. Okay. Mitchell marker outside the anatomy, so I can leave it with the ID blocker right here. Okay. And then let me just secure this. I'll make sure this is 2 inches above T1, which is the cassette, but close your eyes for a second. Okay. Keep them closed, that way it doesn't hurt you. So 2 inches above T1, and they will be kind of like there. No, that's too much. Can you come closer over here? It's easier. Okay, yeah, that's way too much. Yeah, that's better. Now you can come back and I'm gonna make sure I have this the right way. Right there, I'm center. Cassette is at 2 inches above T1. Okay. Perfect. So we have the cassette, filter, collimation. Perfect. All right. And then at this point, I'm going to make sure my patient would be in the middle. But before I do that, I'm going to measure her. Okay. So this one would be from the spine to the sternum. Okay. And this would be 17. So I would go ahead here, find my thoracic, AP thoracic, which KVP would be 80. I would set up 17 for this one. Okay, 0 on this one, and we'll flip it. And it was no, it was 80, my bad. So it's 80, 17, and your the MAS for this view would be 25. So at this point, I will make sure she is center with the ray, which would be perfect there. And at this point, I would tell my patient to take a deep breath, let it all out, and then take another deep breath and hold. And I would shoot that view. Okay, so for my second view, let me start over here, and that way I don't get confused. I will still have it at 40, no tube tilt because it's a lateral thoracic. I would change this to 14 by 17 and collimate just a bit. Perfect. My filter, thick part, but this time is going down. Okay. So I got the filter down, collimated, no tube tilt, focal distance. I'm going to go ahead and switch my cassette. It's going to be now 14 by 17. In this case, the ID blocker, as long as it's in the anterior part of the spine, would be okay. So that's why I have it there on the top. Mitchell marker away from the anatomy, so I can have it there as well. Okay, for this one, it's already 2 inches above T1 because we set up that earlier. And then let me close this in. Okay. And now I'm going to make sure it's everything in here. Perfect. Okay, come closer just to make sure we're doing it right. You're in the middle there. Okay. Just a bit more up because it moves. There. 2 inches above, central ray. everything is set up. At this point, I will measure her. Can you open your arms for me? Perfect. And now I want you to take a deep inspiration. Okay, so that would be 26.5, which I rounded up to 27. So I will come here, thoracic lateral, 80 kVp, and I would make 27 centimeters, which is that little dot in the middle here. 0 for the MCFO. There you go. And I would come back here and read over 80. This is between 60 and 75, which in this case is more towards the 60, so I would stay with 60 MAS. Okay, so at that point, once I put that in the machine, I'll have my patient put your arms like if you're praying, perfect, and I would tell her to take a deep breath, let it all out, and then take another deep breath, hold, and that's when I would shoot the view. For my last view, which is the swimmer's view, film focal distance is still the same at 40. This time there's no filter, so I'm going to take this out. It is a 5-degree caudal tilt, which I just did. This one is going to be going through C71, so I'm going to make sure. Okay, sorry, girl. Okay, it would be like here. Okay, and then let me switch this to 8x10. Okay, so 8x10, caudal tilt, 40, no filter, perfect. I'll switch the cassette at this point. Bring the 8x10. Oh my God, they're alive. Again, the ID blocker, as long as it's on the anterior side of the spine, would be okay. And then the Mitchell marker, as long as it's outside the anatomy as well, is good. So I'm going to keep them close together. Okay, and then I'm going to align the cassette with the central line. Where is it? There it is. Alright, so for this swimmer's view, central ray is going through 71. It's already aligned with the cassette. I would close it at this point. I would have my patient be there. I want to measure first before I have you. And so for this one is 29. And I would come here, go on cervicals, 70 kVp. I would go ahead and put 29, which is that little dot. 0 again on the bottom. 0, 29, and I will flip it. Look at 70 kVp for cervical. And it would be between 200 and 250. So I would guess I would put 225 in the middle. And for this, now that I have everything set up, I will ask my patient to raise their arm right there. And at this point, I would not tell them to breathe, but other than not move and don't breathe. And then I'll shoot the view. And those are the 3 thoracic views.